Sister Bettina, all right. In the meantime, oh shit, it's happening tonight.
Welcome to the National News Update. Today, we cover a compelling conversation between Carlson and Ernst, diving into South Africa's political landscape, historical tensions, and the debate over national identity. Let's break it down.
But in the United States, the country...
In a recent interview, Carlson claimed that South Africa today is, quote, far more racist than apartheid ever was. Ernst, a South African activist and writer, responded by outlining the ideological goals of the ruling African National Congress. He argues that South Africa's leaders are pushing the country towards socialism through what he calls the National Democratic Revolution. According to Roets, the National Democratic Revolution has two phases. First, politicians present themselves as liberal and democratic to gain international and local support. Then, once in power, they use the country's multi-party democracy as a means to push a socialist agenda. Roets also touches on the controversial chant "Kill the Bull," which he says is legally permitted in South Africa. While courts argue it's part of historical remembrance, critics claim it incites violence. Carlson suggests that the media narrative supports the sentiment, implying that white South Africans quote-unquote deserve the repercussions. To understand this tension, Roets revisits history. He states that Afrikaners arrived in South Africa in 1652. One significant moment he highlights is the Battle of Flood River, where 300 Afrikaners defended themselves against 12,000 Zulu warriors. According to Roets, this battle and other events cemented Afrikaner patriotism and a deep-rooted connection to the land. Given the political climate, Roets argues for a decentralized system where South Africa's different quote-unquote nations govern themselves. He cites the Afrikaner town of Oranje as a model, where a community of about 3,000 people is growing at a rate of 12% to 15% annually. He believes self-governance could allow cultural groups to preserve their identity while avoiding national instability. One of the most contentious issues Roets discusses is the government's proposed land reforms. He claims that new policies would require land ownership to be racially representative, meaning 80% of the land must be owned by black South Africans. Critics say this could lead to economic instability and legal battles over property rights. Roets also highlights South Africa's deteriorating infrastructure. He points to water shortages, electricity failures, and rising crime rates. In response, private security companies now outnumber police and military forces combined, signaling a growing distrust in state institutions. Looking beyond South Africa, Roets questions the role of the United States. He argues that America has a quote-unquote moral responsibility to intervene or at least acknowledge the crisis. Carlson echoes this concern, suggesting that South Africa's situation could serve as a warning for other Western nations. The conversation between Carlson and Roets raises critical questions about South Africa's political future, identity politics, and the global response. What are your thoughts on this debate? Let us know in the comments. Before we go, let's take a moment to reflect on the wisdom of the Bible from Genesis chapter 1, reading from verse 1 to 5. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. May these words bring clarity and guidance. If you found this video informative, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth news coverage. This has been the National News Update. See you next time.
In the meantime, oh shit.